Just a few comments before we vote on this. I want to make sure everyone understands that state law forces us to make the motion this way. It's by state law that we have to do it. We had this conversation last year. The tax code says that if we propose a tax rate that is more than the no new revenue tax rate, so if it provides the city with even one more dollar than last year, we have to say we are raising the rate even when we are not. So let me say it again. This is not an increase of the tax rate. In fact, it is a decrease from last year's tax rate by 1.1 cents. So it's actually about a 1.96% lower than last year's tax rate. And if I can also add, this is the seventh time in 8 years that we are lowering the tax rate. The seventh time in 8 years. What that means, if you go back to 2015 coming forward, that is about $1.16 billion that we have not been able to take advantage of if the tax rate had simply remained the same. Okay, 1.16 billion. So this is lowering the tax rate from what existed last year as we move forward. So I just wanted to make that clear. Councilmember Kamen.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Since we're on this subject, and I appreciate and will be supporting this, that we're required by law to do so in terms of lowering the rates. I have a huge concern, and we talked about this at the last council meeting, the fact that we're the only city falling under two different revenue caps right now, and that we're not even coming into uniformity with the state's revenue cap because we have our own revenue cap, and the amount of dollars we're losing as a city but the calls are still coming in, right? More so than ever before. And those investments that residents are asking us to be made are coming in. The demand is great. The infrastructure needs are great. And yet it just doesn't make sense to me that we are falling under two different revenue caps right now.
Thank you, Councilman Kamen, and I agree with you. I know Mayor Pro Tem brought it up on last week. And then at some point in time, I think it would be prudent for us to take a look at it. Councilmember Knox.
Thank you, Mayor. So we're talking about tax rates, but what the consumer in Houston gets is a tax bill. The tax bill is going to go up regardless of what we do here because the valuations of property going up. And so our citizens voted 60 some odd % to implement the tax cap. And I think we need to honor that. Now, my question for this one is, under the current motion, we are increasing the amount from what we just voted on item 2. Is that right? I mean, the first was the public hearing of 550-830, and the motion was what, Dave? I forgot.
The motion was, I gave it back to Mark. Point.
The same 550-830.
Oh, it's the same motion?
Yes.
Okay, so, we talk a lot about, things cost money and all that, and I get it. But this is the will of the people that we maintain this tax cap, this property tax cap, and not confiscate more of their individuals' money. I was looking at this chart where we have this big gap of what we could have had in the past had we not had this tax cap. And that's money that we did not confiscate from citizens of Houston, property owners, and then they use that money to fuel the engine of our economy, which we get, by the way, most of our general fund and most of our budget, about 44% of our budget comes from property tax, 56% of it comes from sales tax and other revenue streams, which are unregulated, or not unregulated, but they're uncapped. So I don't have a problem with this. This is like me saying, man, I've lost a lot of money over the last 10 years because my employer didn't give me a big enough raise, and counting all the money I could have had if my employer had given me some more raises. We shouldn't be complaining about this. We should be grateful that we are able to get more money in net every year that should be able to cover our increasing expenses as we move forward. So I'm in support of this. as long as we stay inside the tax cap. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and certainly, Councilmember Knox, I appreciate those comments, but the expenses have gone up since 2006. The expenses have gone up since 2006. People are also wanting more police, and they cost. They want more police. I see Ray Hunt in the audience. They want considerably more than 5,300 police officers on the streets. EMS services, they want that. They want their trash picked up. Illegal dumping. And as you all know right now, we're looking for drivers. We are competing with the Targets and the Walmarts. And they are paying their drivers more. And we are losing employees that come on board, we train, they hire. So the expenses are going up. I hear what you're saying now. We're not confiscating anything. People you got to pay for what you're getting. And the services are being provided to the people in the city of Houston. So it's not about confiscating, and it's not about taking more than what is needed. But let me tell you, we have over $600 million, Councilman Alcorn, in deferred maintenance. You all had a discussion yesterday on sidewalks. And you can have sidewalks, but if they tow up and people who are wheelchair accessible can't use them, then you don't have a sidewalk. Okay, so I hear what you're saying, but let me tell you, if you don't fix your roof on your house, it's gonna leak. Okay, and the city happens to be our house. So I hear you. I understand, but the voters approved this initially in 2004, amended in 2006. And we find ourselves where we are.